and welcome everyone to HCD robustness test meeting. Today is January 29th, and we have a couple of things on our agenda. Uh, Please always, if you have any questions, feel free to add the topic or just raise your hand and speak up. We can cover those. And let me, so if there are no questions, let me start with the recent issues that were opened. I maybe for me to remind for me what we were last looking at. So yeah, we discussed. I think we discussed the last time we discussed the HCD watch issue with event not missing. So I think I think there is a bug reported by Fuwei, and that's it. Like the previous discussion was just to learn from those. Um, yeah, so there is one bug opened. So it's hard to go to. So yeah, there was some changes. We are in the Kubernetes traffic. We are migrating it to a new interface that we are working on to make it more easier to explore and confirm that we are covering. So I hope that uh, um, that the author of the PR could take a look. Yeah. Um, Yeah, and the second issue I opened today, and is something that I'm excited about. It's a so there since creation of robustness tests, we've been trying to look for you know a different or better ways to do the testing and learn from what things how other how people do that. And at that moment, there was the only option was Jepsen, and that Jepsen had like many issues related to maintenance and compatibility, and it was basically a situation where we needed to depend on or we couldn't contact the owner, so we and couldn't even contribute to it to the Jepsen tests. So at the end, I proposed to I wrote a POC and proposed to, and when it was promising, I proposed to use it. But for around a year, I've been with talks. I think there was an engagement started, by me, Madev, to the company called Antithesis. I don't know if you've heard. I don't know if they. I think they had issues with the site, but yeah, it's working. So high level, they are trying to solve a missing part or the hard part of the robustnesses, which is their reproducibility. And we finally got an we got like this week or last week another confirmation that it might happen soon, and we are just days for final confirmation to on Linux Foundation sponsoring an engagement for 3 months that we could try to use their product to help robustness tests. And high level idea is um, one of the hardest things about robustness test is reproducibility and failure injection, because like you not only need to be an expert in etcd, you not only need to be an expert in distributed systems, but now you need to be expert in network to inject network failure, you need to be expert in disks to inject disk failure. And after, even if you're an expert in those, you might find a bug that happens once per million, and good luck with reproducing it. We are still a little bit trying to throwing that we are throwing darts blindly on the uh, um, to a target, but the target we can only sometimes make the target bigger by trying to focus on and be more focus on things that might be most interesting from robustness perspective, and to reproduce things, try to narrow down what is really the trigger. But in the end, we we are enabled sometimes to reproduce issues that are based on some race condition or some weird traffic patterns. And like one example of such issue is the last issue. Uh, I think um, Fue was confirming that we are currently unable to reproduce the last regression at all. Was it closed already? Let me check the back. Yeah, so this was closed. So this missing event, we have fixed it. We still have identified it, and we have, I think, good understanding of why it happened. And it was just an edge case that we haven't, after writing previous tests, we haven't seen for 6 months, and now randomly started happening because of other things and conditions. And still, at this moment, the conditions that were happening for some time in CI are no longer happening, and now we don't know why it doesn't reproduce. And I mean, one of the reasons is very, very specific traffic or pattern of only doing create requests of specific and then delete requests on the objects and never updating the object or a key. And this normally we never expect it to happen in we never like we I haven't reproduced it even once, and but ci apparently reproduced it a couple of times in a row even. So I don't know how it happened. Just I know lucky or unlucky seed for traffic generation. Yeah. So going back to topic, the goal of antithesis is to build, or they're building a deterministic environment, which includes VMs, network, and other you know other secret sauce that in the end, if you they are giving guarantee that if you run in their environments and you're using their uh, entropy generation, then you can get 100% reproduction of bugs. Um, so yeah, the hope is that we might integrate validation that is part of the robustness with their deterministic VM and get both benefits of most accurate modeling of etcd behavior by as this done by robustness tests, validators, and combined with deterministic VMs. So if you're interested in this topic, the goal is to start the engagement in around 2 weeks if everything goes correct. If you're interested, there are a couple of materials that I linked, and there is even experimental experiments that they have prepared that should show you exactly what they're expecting there, or it's already experiment that they ran on etcd, and they used a very similar approach. I didn't even suggest. I don't think I even suggested this approach. They just did it on their own, which does linearization validation using the same linearizer. So if you the goal would be, I mean, we need to figure out where the code will live, but we would want to either fork this repository or copy it and adjust it to run more advanced validation like robustness tests and make it, I know, better for us. So yeah, yes, it looks like they have, this is how they, in the end, the artifact they are accepting is an is something like creating something like this, but just including the robustness as a Docker file or a Docker image that we can includes all the validations in specific um, directory structure that they can run on the in their environment. Yeah, so mostly like, so part of the work will be trying to understand what they're expecting. Second would be packaging the robustness tests in the same format that they're expecting, and then start pushing to their project and seeing if there are any results and analyzing it. And yeah, if you're interested, feel free to comment on the issue. Hopefully we can get a couple of people to spread the road. The overall engagement is 3 months. I hope that it means we can get something working from our side, and then see if they have also some commitment to use or to develop it. So I hopefully that we can collaborate and they can add and suggest things that we are missing. Yeah. So yeah, again, if you're interested, please comment. It doesn't need to be a long. And I'm planning to, or I hope to do maybe part of the. There was we started first stage of the second maintainer mentorship cohort. I hope that we might be able to, or I might be able to find someone to work on robustness tests that would include this. Yeah, that's high level from the issues opened. Let me take a look into robustness. So if you see my screen, there were a couple of hiccups, and we are still, I think, trying to fight them. So yeah, the green columns that you see are the runs that were stable because we fixed or removed bugs. The first column here was introduced by a very small bug that unfortunately passed the CI because I don't really. Oh, okay. Because the CI doesn't test compatibility of the end-to-end framework with older releases, and we changed a flag in the end-to-end framework during deprecation, and this flag was passed, unfortunately, to an older version of etcd that didn't understand it, and this caused problem. And because we are testing we are it basically targeted upgrade downgrade tests. So if you see yeah, here, all those upgrade downgrades, and but here is an exception that might be interesting for us. But yeah, all of those. So yeah, this took me 1 or 2 days to fix. So yeah, and here we've been, and we had 2 days of green, and then we went back to we introduced a change into membership downgrade upgrade tests, and it looks like we still haven't fixed it. Hopefully someone can take a look at it. I'm not 100% sure what is missing there, but that's a new fail point, and unfortunately, that's usually um, is the main source of flakiness is hard to soak the fail point injection locally enough to have 100% sure that it will not cause some flakes in the tests. So from in testing fails, we might take a look at one of the upgrade downgrades. I don't know if it will be easy to debug because those are usually very tricky on new fail points because without knowing exactly the code. But we might look at one of them. Looking on other tabs, here we had more runs with failures, then also pattern of green, and all the failures are from upgrade downgrades, so not much we can do. Here, similar pattern, and then we have one flake here. 3.5 doesn't run downgrade tests, so it's green. That's a good thing. Similar 3.4 or why? Okay, so yeah, 3.4, yeah, and 3.4 on ARM also is stable. So we are just like having unfortunate upgrade downgrades, ongoing work in upgrade downgrades. We just need to wait for the test to be stabilized. Okay, looking at the first test, we have one case of my favorite low QPS. One thing I hope that to remove is if antithesis environment is as deterministic as they are promised, maybe we can get rid of the requirements for QPS, or that there shouldn't be really needed in their environment, because if they had full determinicity, they could simulate technically any. They could have reproducible, and it should be easier for them to simulate race conditions between coroutines. Okay, let me note the first flake, which is one case of low QPS and issues with downgrade upgrade fail point. So let me look at the fail point at the or the upgrade downgrade later. And here we have another flake. Oh, and this is interesting. This happens rarely. So yeah, let's dig in. If there are I will need to download the results, and we'll see. I will see if there is data in it. So maybe let me change how I'm sharing the screen and open IDE for the our environment. So give me a second. Oh, I don't know if this. Yeah. Yeah, need another. I didn't expect I will need to run the code So for reproduction, if you follow the guidance, we can download the artifact, which includes the history of everything that happened uh, in everything that happened, and we can try to reproduce it, and we can rerun the report that includes the history of everything that happened in the tests, and we can rerun that, at least the linearization part or some validation part locally, and this gives us confirmation whether it's a bug in the code or something else. Yeah, so let me just change my sharing setup. Yeah, can you see my screen or my
Yes.
ID?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so I have the downloaded file. I should be able to, in robustness, there is, or in test, robustness, test data. This directory, it's a special directory that you can throw things in. I hope. No, if, okay, so this is a proper structure, and this is treated as a report. It should be, you can just make tests. Sorry for that. Ports. Okay. And this uses the latest version of code. So sometimes if there's changes in the validator, it could be problematic because there can be differences. But if it's a pretty fresh test, I hope it works. Okay, so it compiled, starts running the test, runs the validation, and it finds a nil. Okay, that's not great. Uh, so let me check the code. So the panic is, let me identify. Okay, so this is valid visualization. Operations 51. Validate, not operations, test operations. Okay, so this is here. So this is on. This is panicking just visualization. So looks like a bug in. Yeah, looks like a bug in visualization in model non-deterministic. And line is also 51. Okay, so we are unable to cast this request. Let's see the request. So I'm interested how. Mm, 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 yeah. If Okay, maybe let's request. Okay, if not okay, let's return unknown uh, and out. Maybe let's handle also out resp. Okay, out not okay. Um, okay, so this is a problem. Describe request and describe response. You can just say like request, request. We are unable to describe the response without response, so I think that's maybe that's request non-response. And we should be able to just rerun the test again. Okay, and now we have visualization. But yeah, linearization failed. So that's not good. Yeah, something that didn't go right. What can be done? Usually I try to try to understand whether the bug is uh, in the validation itself or in the so here validation operations because there is additional or the patching of the history. So we do some patching of the history, and where is it? Yeah, here is the patching history, and it's we do that to to we do patching to remove bugs or to speed up the linearization by cutting out sections that are not or to avoid traversing too big graph of history that is some branches just don't make sense, but we can just uh, but sometimes there could be a bug in the operation or the patching, so we can just maybe shortcut it and see take the costs which might be very high of linearization without the thing without but yeah, this shows that by removing patching of operations and linearization succeeding, it means that there is a bug in patching history, which is I'm not super happy with because I was the last person that changed this code. But yeah, this gives us proper and no unknown part of history. So in this history, there is an operation that is incorrectly patched. Mm, yeah, so usually during patching, we are removing those operations, those very lengthy operations that failed at some point. We don't know when they finished, but they failed. So it's and also because that was one of the things. etcd has a tendency to sometimes if there is a lost write maybe can revive it or like can still show up later. The reason is just if there is a lot of retries, and if member writes something to their history, they might I don't know if they will propose it again, if I could say that, but yeah, for some reason there is the rights can be revived later, so we need to we cannot assume that failed requests finish at some point. We assume it finished very at late stage. I mean, if we could, that's other thing that I hope with antithesis to that they have identified that etcd has a tendency to revive such transactions. Maybe we could find the cause and fix it. But yeah, high level, yeah, this proves that there is a bug. It's not a bug in etcd, it's a bug in robustness test patching history. Does it make sense? Are there any questions for that? Okay. I hope everything is clear. Okay, this is this test. Just so let me as a conclusion, we should file a bug to etcd. Mm, mm, mm. Let's give instructions for people if they don't know. So if you, what I did should be described in the README in the evaluating existing report. And it didn't copy right. Okay. I think the rest of it is optional. Okay. Okay. This remind me there is another issue that would be good to it's a very simple documentation fix, but so the recent um, recent issue has been our last issue in last meeting that we discussed, and I mentioned it, that was found with a robustness test. We should document uh, in the historical issues. So if you want a first good issue, here is a simple thing. I'm maintaining a track record. Um, so it's robustness and documentation and a good first issue. Yeah, so if you want to grab this, let me post the link to both issues if you're interested in that identify improvements. So we have two places for improvement. If you want to tackle them, please ask for if you to be assigned, and yeah, I'm fully I'll be happy to help you get through those. And documentation should be pretty simple. Yeah, so that's those two issues, and the last that I reserve is the upgrade downgrade. This is pretty tricky because it's not easy to find what is happening. Um, okay, I mean, this says that one of the clusters didn't start, this member didn't start, or we were unable to get it to healthy. So we can, read the logs. And so this is the error, update start version, server is ready to downgrade. Mm. Do you have it? Okay. So this member just failed to. Problem is I don't see logs. Well,
I don't really see any log about the downgrade has started.
yes, and that's exactly what I'm also okay. how to identify the panic, or what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the log because it's one stream of logs, but one of them failed. I want to start with that. So there should be a failure. Yes. And okay, we have failed, and I'm looking for the problematic member, which is this one. Mm, yeah, so also problem. Some logs will be split below, and some logs will be above, and that's because this failed. Downgrade. So this failed here. Those are wrapped.
Can you search for downgrading? The word.
Downgrading members. So here's one case of downgraded members. Mm, does it downgrading member, and I'm looking for member 0. So we start from downgrading member 2, downgrading member 1, downgrading member 0. And can I just like nicely, will it work? Okay. So from this point of view, it received a signal, closing at CD, setting up embedded, rejecting connection, so it's shutting down, rejecting. Hmm, what is happening here? So where it started shutting down, was it just killed? Rejected connection appeared. Hmm, this is just terminated. So there also should be a log that it started the member. Hmm. Okay, so here is the stopping. So I don't know how long it took, but okay, here's stopping insecure gRPC server due to error. But setting up, okay, it immediately started setting up the new server. Okay, here it lost leadership. Other members reported just stopped leadership, but this was still alive. So this was he was still talking to Raft. Mm, mm, lost leader. Okay. No, it doesn't matter really. I'm just looking. Uh, Yeah, we report a lot of errors because the etcd shutdown is not very clean. Okay, so here we finally shut down, and here we are starting. Mm, it read the backend, did some drafting. Mm, started purging, changed, or, and here it says it starts serving. So I thought we are checking this. I haven't fixed that, or have I fixed that? I thought that we changed the, or the robustness test just check the, or no, is it robustness test? No, this is not robust. This is robustness test. So we check health by checking a gRPC, I think, fail liveness. And here is serving officially, and established phrase, established TCP. And here is confirmation that server started. And it did compares, version match. Oh, and here it starts upgrade members 210. Okay, so here, so we looked at the downgrades, but we needed to look at the upgrades. Mm, mm, should I look just for upgrade? Oh, the upgrade, maybe upgrading.
Grading.
Okay, 210, and that's so okay. 210, it's shutting, or I assume it's shutting down. Yes, it's closing. It got the signal. It takes. And we can stop servers. I think. Stop server respawning the process. Okay, so here failed to publish the local member for Raft. Okay. A lot of snapshots. Okay, but it's woke up, ready to serve client requests. So this should say that we are ready. And doing compaction, doing compaction, doing compaction. Alive, happy, totally not dead. So what happened?
Is it just taking too long?
That's a, yes, that's one possibility. Uh, so yeah, one thing I not great in the Golang testing framework. It's hard to recognize error logs. So here are all of those are info. Um, so fact that this test failed, it just means that at that point we finished testing, but within all this, like all the logs here for 70 seconds, or that's a lot. Maybe you're right because the That would make sense. I think that fail points should finish in 60 seconds, uh, and here we had a case where one member had some period of not being able to publish its membership to other, I don't know, maybe because leader election, and that adds a random delay. Maybe it needs to happen once or sometimes because leader can take. I think someone measured it like even 5 seconds to change. It's not great, but it's so yeah. Sometimes you just get unlucky, and in those tests it takes too long. Um, so how would we confirm? Mm, mm, so that's a this is post test. And I thought there was a log that would say this fail point, injecting fail point, and say the name.
So it will say, I think in the log it says timed out. Um,
Mm, mm, yeah, there are also downgrades tests. We check. So what I would expect to happen is fail points. There is a fail point directory, and there is 1 minute trigger timeout. And this timeout is used in inject fail to queue process within blah blah blah. So this is injection logic. Trigger failed to trigger fail point. So we would expect, huh? But I guess that okay, that's one option. I guess that maybe the issue is that the upgrade downgrade uh, fail point doesn't respect the context because it was written differently and with different purpose, and it does a lot of calls and does a lot of operations that are loops that might not necessarily all the code doesn't respect fail point or context timeouts. So how to confirm it? That would be, and I don't know. Hmm. So that would maybe cause it to exit the code exit in unexpected way. But yeah, we have here triggering file a timeout, a fail point, and 19. So we have a minute. So 141. Yeah. So this is exactly on timeout. So or after timeout. So 141. So the problem is some of, yeah, you would maybe parse the log, but at some point we timed out on context context console. So yeah, mm, those TCP streaming connection. Yeah, so I think the context was closed long time ago, or maybe it's hard to confirm because you also have some nesting of the context timeouts. Context cancelled. I don't remember even the error name. This context time. Yeah. So, but high level for me, this seems like just a as Simon pointed out, that there is a timeout. Okay, we are 2 minutes off. Should I file an issue, or Henry, are you working on this?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. Can you repeat?
I can take a look at the timeout.
Okay. I mean, okay, great. Either paste or just create an issue, or yeah. Okay. So note that. Just for the meeting sake. Uh, yeah. So I don't know what's the best way to fix it. I keep the timeout generic and low because most fail injections take around 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or even 1 second. And there are like just couple of them that are taking longer. Whether we want I don't know if I would want to raise the overall bar, but maybe allow fail points to override the timeout to make it more.
Yeah, also, like Henry has an issue with the E2E test also taking a longer time with
Mhm.
the downgrade. So, um,
Okay.
Yeah, I'll also help looking into this because yeah, my end-to-end test, as mentioned, it's also timeout related. So I'll try to help here.
Yeah. Uh, so would be good to have some suggestion. Like the problem is, yeah, we noticed that sometimes etcd cannot easily rejoin the cluster, and the exact cases are hard to debug, and no one really dig into it. I think that the main approach here that we should take is adjust the timeouts to be, or simplify the test or adjust the timeout. Okay. But great, thank you for looking into that. Think we can finish for today. So thanks everyone. Hope to see you in 2 weeks.
thank you.
Yep. See you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.